Okay, okay. That means we're live. Let
We're back
me.
out here.
What happened?
We're back out here.
We back out here. Yo.
Yeah.
Let's. I'm just gonna wait for it to come up, and so I can check old audio and whatnot. Yeah, audio's good.
Yeah.
Wicked. Let me put out a tweet. But
Hell yeah.
and then we
Sweet.
can, we can catch up. We can do the thing.
Yeah.
Live now at twitch.tv/the nerd. Okay, the nerd ledger. Check it out. We catching up, yo. Okay, tweethead. All right. So. It's been a longo time, my friend.
There's been a lot going on.
Yeah, I missed you, to be honest. I'm super happy to be talking to you.
Thank you. I'm glad, and I've been getting a lot of supportive text for you, and I know it's been a little rough for me because of just dramatic life changes. So I really do appreciate you being there.
Of
Just being
course.
present, shooting me texts, and checking in on the weekly. It's great. So I
Yeah.
do appreciate you a lot. And I'm glad that we're back here, and hopefully things can calm down and get back to normal, and we can have a regular scheduling, and then we can say we're going to talk about something, then get off track and talk about something else. So, yeah,
Yeah. Dude, it's
yeah,
like we we haven't talked in like I don't know. I mean, we've talked, but we haven't like podcasted for
talk,
like
yeah.
3 months
This is
probably.
this is when we converse, because we're just basically inviting other people into our conversations.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's been a couple months. It's been a long time, way too long, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And things have been happening. Just to get out this feel, everyone knows that I would talk about constantly about the fact that I worked at a law job. Unfortunately, I got fired from that job. I just couldn't make it to Martinez by 8 o'clock because the 4 East is just a freaking nightmare. I was leaving my house at around 5:45 in the morning. Um, at a rate, well, it was a law job, so it was more of a career networking gig than it really was that I was there for the pay.
Right.
But still, and a very intense job that I think probably wasn't for me because of just some personal anxiety I have in my life that makes it was a very intense field. I didn't plan to stay into it too long, but because I couldn't make it to work on time at 8 o'clock, they decided to let me go. It was a little sudden. It was done in a very unprofessional way, in my personal opinion. Even though, myself, I'm not gonna lie and say I was the best employee they had in the office. There were a lot of really good employees in the office, but it's just I don't know. The way I don't want to talk shit about them because at the end of the day I really did enjoy my time working at that law firm, but how they handled it was very sudden. It was done on a Monday, which is not the best, is not the good day to hire somebody. It was done after they had taken the entire MD and the entire office out to lunch and a movie, and then uploaded a firm photo with me included that
Oh
said
boy.
glad to have the Tully Boys team all together. The superhero team. We went to see Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, which I personally thought was fantastic. I was really surprised by how good it was, to be honest. I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point.
Of course. Of course.
Um, but it's just the way that it was handled left me kind of angry and a little depressed, and then the anger went away, and it was just more depression. I got a new job. Not a new job, but I decided to go back to work at a place you and I have discussed before. It was supposed to be an intermediary job, just a between job, and unfortunately, the new owners of that place just need to figure out more of their systems and how they want to run the harbor, because it was just run uh, say that there were a number of things that happened when I was on the job that happened when you and I were working there that were not the norm. There is just a number of new personalities there on the heavy machinery that just make it very difficult to work as a Jeep driver. Um, and then eventually, the final straw was I had to basically perform tasks while off the clock and was not going to be compensated for it. Unfortunately, what I should have done at that point is just quit immediately. But I didn't. I did the thing, and then I went down to the break room and stewed for like 30 minutes before I went upstairs and quit, which is unprofessional. I should have just quit at that point. But it's a lesson learned. I just walked out that day. They mailed me my last check in the mail, which is kind of awkward because I didn't live in the town. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
And
you
again,
gotta look after yourself, like.
yeah, and the job. This is something you and I know, but I just spoke to a previous manager who is still the harbor master there. He and I discussed at length. Coming back wouldn't be any issue. He said there wasn't too many changes that would make it too jarring for me. When I went there and saw what was going on, obviously that was not the case. Another really big example for me, it's very clear that the garbages were not getting done while I was not there. And then I would have to come and lift all these like full ass garbage cans by my I would have to tell them, hey, come over here and help me. And I just started 2 weeks ago. I'm already having to boss these kids around, and it's just the level of them not wanting to do anything at all. Like it was and this surprised me the most, but it was actually worse than before.
Jeez. Well, of course,
Yeah.
those kids have no respect, right? Like a lot of the
Yeah,
kids who start there, like they don't give a shit.
Too, and it's their first job, and they're 16 or 15. They still think they're fucking kings of the world and shit. It's just a summer gig to them. That part I get, but at the end of the day, even the basics, like garbages and bathrooms, weren't getting done.
Well,
yeah.
The problem with that job has always been the culture of the job, right? Like,
yeah,
it's always been like, okay, you're here and you can dick off so much and nobody gives a shit, but don't do it if the owners come, right? That was always like the way that job was kind of when I was there. And obviously those owners sold it and now someone else owns it or whatever. Like, I don't know anything about it now, but like working a job like that, like it's a job that it will never be a career, and it's always just like people lie to you and make it seem like it's the best job ever and you'll never have as cushy a gig, and then you go work somewhere else and you're like, wow, that job was actual AIDS and made me wish I never worked again.
Because honestly, I quit that Friday because I was originally saying, okay, I'm just going to quit on Monday, but then the more and more of it started piling up right away. It's like, okay, I'm going to fucking hate myself if I don't quit, right? So yeah. Because that was my first day back, not my first day back, but it was my first day back on schedule, and I was just like, oh my fuck, like people there. Okay, you know what this is, but the safe couldn't be opened until someone arrived. But the problem is with how the new management structure is set up, with times being when someone you and I both know is a hard worker who genuinely cares about that place is probably the only person that ever actually genuinely successfully made it into a career job is still there. And he's trying his hardest, but he's obviously trying not to step on the new owner's toes.
Of course, that's understandable because the last time he got promoted to harbor master, he got fucking fired in like 3 months.
Yeah, and they eventually brought him back. But anyway, we're getting into the details of job drama. But anyway, I don't work there anymore. I think they just need to figure out look. I grew up on the Delta, so did he. He knows that he just needs to tell the owners either look that we need to pay a good group of solid guys career money to keep them here for 20 or 30 years, and figure out a system where the summer isn't so overwhelming, isn't such a shock to the harbor.
Well,
or we need to just do the in and out in summer. There needs to be a set time when all these people get let go at summer at the same time.
The problem is for so many people who look at what that place is, they look at the dollars, and that's all they care about, right? And the thing is, no matter how poorly it's run, it will always make money. So they just don't give a shit about the people there, because the job will always owning that business will always bring in just hundreds of thousands of dollars every month.
Yeah, because it's just the berths. I don't think I've ever seen A and B dock empty. Once.
Right, and there's always wait lists, and
they the price keeps going up. They keep raising the price, so and people are still paying.
And
they have nowhere else to go.
And it's the location too, right? It's there are plenty of places to store your boats, but none of them are as nice as that.
as the yacht harbor, and and it's because they have those concrete docks that are maintained meticulously by two landscapers that you and I both know are paid a very good amount for what they do, and they do the same thing every day to keep that place looking pristine.
Yeah.
And those are we need more guys like that essentially, and you need to encourage more of the people to be like that, and hopefully they can figure it out. That's all I can hope for, and that the job will be, because the job was also very stressful when I was there. It was almost as stressful as working at a law firm because of just how crazy it was. I don't know how to describe it. It was like going to the wolves den. You just had to puff out your chest to the other people in the blue shirts down the dock and let them know what was going on. It's just
right,
because that's just the culture down there right now, and it's bad. It's bad.
And even it's one of those things where even because the culture is so bad, you don't even feel appreciated for all the shit you do.
Yeah.
And it's the more you do, the more people treat you like shit almost. Oh, you do all that. Okay, you don't do anything. You don't deserve more money. It's well,
yeah. Or two, and if you do a lot, people fucking resent you for it because they're like, okay, well, we need to space all this work out so we can make it look like we're working hard. But for me, it's just I like to work hard until the work is done, and then I go and be lazy. Because you can find other dumb, useless shit to do.
Right.
But the garbages and the bathrooms need to get done. It's just a fact of life. And I'm just not gonna. The problem is, I could see how this is gonna go because it happened in my first 2 years when I was working at the harbor. We just wait till Matt gets here; he'll do everything. It's just how it worked, and how it worked for you. It was probably like that for you.
Yeah,
wait till Christian shows up. I was 2 weeks in, and they were asking me to start doing meters for them for the assistant harbor master,
who's the owner, right?
He has a personal relationship with the owner.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that's what it was. When I got brought up, so I got brought into the office, right, at a weird transitionary period, and they just passed everything onto me. The harbor master would pass everything onto me. The assistant harbor master would pass it. They would go outside and talk to the crew and manage that, but everything within the office I did, right? Yeah. And these are people getting paid 3, 4, 5 times what I'm getting paid, and I'm doing their job. And when
that was my Trailer Road, you and I both know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I spent a good chunk of my time fixing Trailer Road, and it wasn't originally when I started fixing it. It was just because of lazy dock personnel. They just got their first G privileges, and they didn't give a shit, and they were just throwing trailers wherever. But I was told that the assistant harbor master was the one who was going down Trailer Road and messing it up super bad. 321 was between 56 and 229. It didn't make any sense. It was these are our customers' trailers, and we have a responsibility to at least know where they are.
And this wasn't we spent months fixing it from before. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you left, I had to fix it again because more dock boys kept messing it up, and I left for 9 months to go work at another trade job before I quit and came back. And then I just learned that Trailer Road got all janked up again. I was like, I'm going to have to fix this again. And this time it wasn't because of dock boys. It was because of someone in the office. And to me, thinking that, okay, I took a huge pay cut coming from a law firm where I wasn't really being paid that much to the harbor because I just kind of wanted it to be a transitory job.
Dude, they scammed you, to be honest. Yeah. They scammed you. This is the thing. And because I know, I don't know for sure, but my prediction is when you came back, they had you doing office work and dock work.
No, I told them I wasn't going to be in the office.
Oh, okay.
And also because what was going on, the office accountant, office manager actually resigned from that position. So you and I both, and they asked me for my ID, and the new office manager was very aggressive about it because she basically told me after she came up to me demanding it, and I gave her a look that seemed to be annoyed, and then she probably recoiled a bit because probably the other dock boys didn't give her that kind of look. But then she said that it was because we possibly could be audited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was just I should have quit then and there. That's when I should have really quit. This is on my second day back.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, and I just don't know what's gonna be
Yeah.
And they had old people coming in and working from 5 in the morning till 9 o'clock just to cover hours because they were having trouble getting kids. But the problem was okay, so the problem is theirs. You gotta raise the pay a bit and try not to get kids. Maybe get some adults, but they're not gonna do that.
Well, it's just crazy to me because what's minimum wage now? 14 something or 15?
It's 15. It should be 15. Anyway.
And they started you at that?
Yeah,
That's insane to me. Like
that's what I asked for. Yeah, with my experience, with everything they know about me, like that's what I was. I took less than what I was getting paid when I left.
Yeah,
you know,
Jesus.
it's just like okay. To me, it was like okay, whatever. This just need to be some bullshit job. Blah 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 blah. Like I just do some stuff. Like I'll work hard. I'll show up. I'll do the garbages. I'll clean the bathrooms because I like genuinely like cleaning stuff. I'll scrub down the docks from all the bird shit. I'll do all that kind of stuff. Right. And then next thing I knew, I was like, okay, maybe I'll hop on the trailer because I guess Jamal kind of said it was expected of me by the upper management. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll hop back on the Jeep after a 3-year hiatus. But it was just like riding a bike. I was back into it in a second.
Yeah.
And then I was hauling out for I was on Jeep for 3 hours. And it's just I feel like the person you and I both know there, he kind of knows too that I was probably getting because. There's another task they set me to, where they gave me I had to do cobwebs, and they gave me a really POS cobwebber that was like all plastic handle and shit like that, and they didn't give me any gloves, and they just said go and do it, and then blast down these windows. We don't know where the supplies are though. Then this is all when this other gentleman that you and I both know very well at this point wasn't there, and I think that's also a huge part of the problem is that when he's not there, and not even the office cares anymore.
The problem with this place is I'm surprised they haven't been shut down because of workplace safety.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me because I remember when I first started, the pallet we had to go change light bulbs on the top of the dry stack.
Yeah.
And I remember getting in it and I was thinking, this doesn't seem safe.
Chicken wire. Yeah.
But they wouldn't put someone's life in danger here. This is a professional place of business. And I was in that rickety ass shit replacing light bulbs 100 feet in the air.
To be fair, we did build a new skylift.
That one was much better, yeah.
Yes, it was. We did build a new one. We got the harnesses, and we have a new forklift. That's another good thing, even though. But this is a problem, and then again, I'm gonna drag the Hoffman name through the mud as much as I fucking want because I don't give a shit about Hoffman or Landon Homes, whatever the fuck they're known as these days. But the bullshit that went on with the new forklift, I'm not sure if you were there for that, but this was like a $300,000 purchase for their business, and they didn't even pay to have anyone flown out to where it was being manufactured to look at the fucking thing.
Oh yeah, I remember
before they had it shipped across the country.
Yeah, it was way too big.
Here, it was obviously the wrong forklift for the wrong job.
Yeah.
And they had to do all this other dumb shit just to kind of get it to work.
Right.
And they're still dealing with those issues today. And it's mainly what it does, what that forklift just does to the concrete around the area, And it's just, anyway, it's just all dumb bullshit. I'm glad I quit. I really am.
Yeah.
It's just.
I'm glad you quit too. Fuck that.
At the end of the day, I've been also another thing. I've been feeling really good lately, less depressed. So that's been good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, A+ positivity. I've been seeing a really. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for anyone just tuning in, Cher and I are just catching up. We haven't podcasted for 2-3 months because you've had some personal stuff going on, and with your jobs.
I've just been quite depressed and anxious and everything, and I just.
Right.
With that being said, though, I'm feeling great. I've been seeing a really great psychotherapist. I have great help from my parents, thank God. I feel very lucky to have them. I am very lucky to have them. So I just got to count my blessings and keep moving forward. I think I'm gonna go to a real estate academy, get that done, get my license because my parents are just in the business. They're well networked. They can funnel me deals. It's just. And then I can write on the side because that really is what I want to do. I just kept thinking about it, and I just really want to write books. So I think for novel writing November, which is coming up in a few days, I might put my head to the grindstone here and see what I can turn out. Even if it's 50,000 words, even if it's not the goal I want to meet, at least I was writing.
Yeah.
And then I got my. Oh, go ahead.
The other reason, I think we podcasted last in maybe July.
Yeah.
But I also had something a big project at work going on at the time, and there were weeks. Oh my God, dude! I was on call for 24/7 for 2 weeks, but before that, I worked 3 days straight of 18-hour days.
That's not healthy.
it was insane. It was a lot of work, but it's paid off and everything. I got rewarded for that. Even though
they probably paid you OT and bonuses.
No,
I'm
I'm salary. I don't get overtime, but I mean, the thing is, I started a separate podcast, just for more personal stuff, and I do nerd stuff on there too every now and then. But it's just like
Yeah.
it's called Life Serial, and like I've done like this series of podcasts. Like one of them is like finding myself, finding love, finding success, and when I talked about finding success, I talked about working at the harbor because when you're growing up and you're going through different jobs in different parts of your life, you'll have people there that come to you as like sort of mentors who will just straight up lie to you, and they don't have your best interests at heart at all. Like all they care about is using you for their benefit, and they lie to you. And the old bookkeeper at the harbor when I was there, she knew every time I would apply for a different job because I talked to her, like, because we were like, we talked a lot. Yeah. And she would always tell me, like, oh, the grass always seems greener on the other side, but then you get there and it's not, and all this shit. Like, she would always try to dissuade me from getting another job. And I worked at the harbor for 5 years. I started at $10 an hour, and when I left, I was making $15.75. So I got $5.75 in raises in 5 years, right?
Yeah.
I have been at my current job since 2017. I got hired at $17 an hour, and now I'm making $70K a year. Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Like 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah.
And I've tripled my salary from when I left that place.
Yeah.
And part of that's hard work. Part of it's taking opportunities as they come. Part of it maybe getting lucky. But like once you get the job, take every opportunity you have to prove yourself. Work hard. Make sure people know they can rely on you. And as soon as people know that they can rely on you, you will get opportunity after opportunity to progress. And like sometimes people act like they're your friend and like try to dissuade you from making bad decisions. But it's your life at the end of the day. Do what works best for you, and honestly, fuck anybody else. Like, it's not about them; It's about you.
Yeah, and especially like it's one thing a lot of people, again, sideways, but into politics, real quick. Just the relationship. A lot of people who give their labor to the market. It's really just kind of screwy right now. Like it's just.
Oh yeah.
They just don't have a healthy relationship with work. Like you said, like you work 21 hours 18 hours because you're motivated for this company. You know the people who work there, or at least I think you do. That's why I'm assuming you work so hard.
It goes back to like the culture. Like the culture of this company is caring about its employees. Like, and again, like when we both of us know when we worked at the harbor, if we wanted a day off, they would make you feel like shit.
Yes.
They would.
Yes.
They would make a huge deal out of it,
and they would make you put it in months in advance too, for like for what is basically an hourly wage job. Like that's just kind of it's like if they're not gonna pay you career money, like.
And not only that, if you were lucky, you got 4 days of earned paid time off a year. 4 days. At my new job, I started at 3 weeks paid time off a year. Not only that, they encourage you to take time off because they know you're not at your best unless you're relaxed and have time to recover.
Exactly. That's why I'm interested in where the experiment with the 4-day work week is going. I do think employers because at the end of the day, what's going on right now, there's this guy called Jocko Willink. He's a Navy SEAL. He's got a really strong chin and a very intimidating look. But he's just, he's been in places where life or death situations, you got to make those choices on the fly. That's true management. That's what that is at the end of the day, squad management. And he said that this country right now is just suffering from a crisis of leadership, and I agree with him. I think that we just have a tire of shit, useless managers who don't know how to deal with employees, who don't know how to communicate, who don't care. Like it's the main thing, and it's the work is suffering, and everyone's suffering because at the end of the day, you need money to live, and the only way to get money is to get a job. And if the only way you can get a job is working with the shit manager who doesn't give a fuck about you, you're going to be a resentful citizen,
right?
And you're gonna, you can't just. It's bad. It's really bad right now, and I hope that more and more managers eventually start making their way into the workforce and showing people, like you said, like where you're working right now, these people give their time, and that's what labor is, at least to me. It's time and energy.
Yeah.
You're contributing all of your time and your energy to this, and you should be like rewarded because oh my god, this human being is dedicating himself to this, and
we literally spend a third of our life working.
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly.
And it is. I totally agree with you because like my wife had an extremely stressful job, stressful, and she put in long hours and she would do a lot of work and she dealt literally with people's lives. Like she had people's lives in her hands, but she had to work within the confines of a system that tended to hurt people more than help them.
Doesn't give a fuck about people. Yeah, that's like law.
Right.
You know, that's kind of like I'm a little bit bitter now about law.
Yeah, I don't think she'll mind if I leak this, but I'm not gonna say her name, of course. But like she did a very brave thing, and she chose her mental health over her job, and she walked away from a very good paying job because of how it harmed her mental health and it harmed the people that she was trying to help.
Yes.
And that takes a lot. It takes a lot to walk away from a lot of money to take care of yourself, right?
It does.
And even like I know like some of her old coworkers are like, oh, you started a revolution around here. Like we all are like encouraged by that because a lot of people wouldn't do that. Like I don't know. I don't think I would do that, right?
Exactly. Somebody needs to take a stand against shitty managers. Like, you know,
Right.
it's just we're seeing a lot of people quit their jobs right now, and the reason they're quitting their jobs, it could be about pay, sure. It could be about benefits, sure. But also, primarily, it's who you fucking work with every day. And if the person who's in charge of you is a huge piece of shit and doesn't give a fuck about you and treats you like shit, you're gonna just quit. Like, just quit. It's like all I can tell you is because you need to take the power back, man.
Right.
Into your hands. It's unhealthy.
Yeah. I mean, part of this is like the pandemic has just destroyed people's mental health, destroyed everyone's morale as well. Like, and unless you're like an incredibly strong person, and it's not an insult to people who got left behind or kind of like sank instead of swimming during something like this, like it's bound to happen. But like, you know, one of my friends, you know, Captain Hot Sauce. This guy lost his job during COVID. He doesn't have a degree. He doesn't have like what you would call like marketable skills. Like, I mean, he's worked a lot of jobs, but he doesn't have like a degree or whatever like that certain employers are looking for, right?
Yeah.
This man has a kid and a girlfriend and all these responsibilities. He lost his job. He picked himself up, went to LA, enrolled in a Class A trucking licensing facility, and spent 3 months getting his license and training, and now he's making close to $100K a year.
Exactly. You know, that's what you got to do. I think having a kid is a real shot in the ass. I don't think you and I completely understand.
Yeah, dude.
We won't understand. We won't understand. Yeah, looking down at that. Oh, well, fuck. Like this is This is my genetic imprint on the history of the rest of the world. Like when I die, you're all that's really left of me.
Yeah, but it's really easy in that moment to just give up too, right? It's really easy.
You know, like say fuck this lady, fuck this kid, I'm leaving. You know, I'm just dodging child support. There are tons of people that do that all the time.
Yeah. I got no money. What gonna do shit? You know, like it's very easy to
Good
do
for
that.
him. That's awesome. Like, you know, I'm glad to hear that because, you know, like I don't think my interactions with him in the past have been like, you know, A+. So I'm glad to hear that he's been doing okay. That he's turning around.
And he's struggled a lot. Like he really has. Like there was like a time where he wasn't working at all when I lived with him, and that put a lot of pressure on me as well. But like sometimes people have to go through really fucking shitty things to get to a place they need to get to, right? And it sucks. But if we're all happy all the time, we'll never appreciate anything, right?
Exactly.
Like you have to know real pain and real hardship and real struggle to really appreciate the good things.
Low lows and high highs. That's what they say.
Yeah. So, but again, like I've gone to a dentist a couple of times recently because I've had like a couple fillings and cleaning or whatever, and like my dentist is like really good at like knowing like pressure points for your jaw and shit because I have a fucked up jaw. Like it locks up a lot when I get like cleanings and shit. And so like she started like massaging it and stuff, so I wouldn't get that. And she was just saying like, you know, more than ever like during the pandemic, people's jaws are fucked because they're so stressed all the time. There's so much tension, you know. And
to the morale of the country has just been low.
Right.
You know, you say it's the pandemic. I say it's also it's pandemic too, but also, you know, we recently left Afghanistan in a dramatic fashion. I agree that we should have pulled out. I don't like regime change wars. I don't think we could have really done anything.
No, look, we
but
do.
You know, at the end of the day, it's just demoralizing as an American to see all these chunks of money, which could have gone to modernizing this country. Because at the end of the day, this country is starting to look really shabby as compared to other modern countries, especially in the public transit field. Like it's just horrendous. Like, you know, like And I'm surprised it doesn't piss everybody off, because it pisses me off, because Europe has a free, like, international fucking high-speed railway system that's all electric. It's mostly automated now. We don't have that.
I mean, it's not free, but it's cheap.
Okay, it's cheap. It's cheaper than riding Amtrak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, less impactful on the environment. The bus is all fucked up. Like, it's just, this country has a lot of issues, and it's, honestly, to me, it mostly has to do with modernization and people's relationship with the market.
Yeah, I mean, the I guess the real solution for something like that is, like, you have to find the balance, right? Like,
yeah,
some people love big government, some people love big business. They're both bad for our country. They are, but like, dude, Elon Musk is worth $1 trillion now. Let's be honest. Like, this man could make, like, Tesla buses and Tesla trains and shit, and revolutionize our country and modernize it with the help of the government.
Yeah,
like,
easily. It can be both. Yeah. And to, like,
But again, he's not obligated to do that. I'm not saying he should do that, or like
he shouldn't. But he should do it because he's an American and he wants to help out his fellow citizens.
He should do it because he wants to, though. Right?
Yes, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. Like, also with Blue Origin. Like, if you're saying Blue Origin, okay, Earth's fucking important. Amazon.
Millionaires don't care about Earth. They care about Mars. Okay.
They don't care about the fucking planet. Like, they just don't give a shit. And
they've given up already. They're ready to go to another planet.
I'm really starting to learn that the biggest polluters on planet Earth are usually the people who are riding around on their own super mega yachts that pump diesel fuel, which is basically just one step up from fucking from burning pitch to boil steam to turn a fucking turbine. Riding around in their private jets, which guzzle hundreds of thousands of gallons of fuel down, and also pump it all out directly into the atmosphere.
Let's be honest, right? Electric vehicles do that too. That just when they're charging, not when they're driving.
Yeah,
I mean, we're never gonna, like, people want to lower the footprint, the carbon footprint, all this shit. We still use electricity, and we're never gonna stop, right?
Yeah,
we're not gonna murder all the fucking cows. Like,
exactly. And I also just think, for, like, the argument for me is, when it comes to environmentalism, is that we need to aggressively attack local sources of pollution, and then that will slowly begin to resolve our environmental crisis as nature comes back in. Like,
we also have to understand, like, what America does isn't going to change the world.
Yes, but also, like, I think we should change things inside, because that's where Americans, that's what we do, and we're the fucking best, and fuck everybody else.
Sure.
Like, I think, like, what's Erin Brockovich, who is one of her and Atticus Finch. That's another reason I got in. It's because she aggressively attacked a PG&E, a local source of pollution, that kind of opened the eyes for everybody. And the local judge was like, "Yo, this is my backyard. What the fuck? Why are you guys dumping these chemicals into the fucking groundwater?" So, and everybody, and, like, all these kids have cancer at this one school located right next to your chemical plant, and you're saying it's just a fucking coinky-dink? It's just stuff like that, stupid, obvious stuff like that. Stupid, obvious stuff, like when did you hear about the strike going on at the John Deere plant right now?
Yeah.
They decided it was a good idea to train their management staff 3 weeks to operate a machine shop, rather than negotiate with the union that works in their and
doesn't it have to do with the union? Aren't they?
I'm not 100% sure, but I guess.
I mean, the union is protecting them from being fired, though.
Yeah.
When they're striking.
Yeah, and they all went on strike because it's just, at the end of the day, management compensation, I think what you and I both know, is not what it should be. It should actually, for what some managers do, should be quite lower. And I think it should be dispersed depending on how much time, because at the end of the day, if you have someone down a machine shop welding all day, putting the actual material together, and then you have someone up top who isn't making sales, whose only job is to make sure employees show up on time and do what they're supposed to do, and is to deal with human resources. The push and pull there is very difficult, and you're making a couple faces, so I'm sure you have something to say.
Well,
but
it really depends on the company, right? Like, the people who run the company I work for, right? Like, the executives at my company, like, sure, they're not making sure that when a customer goes to the grocery store, that customer can buy that product. That's not their job, right? That's my job. But their job is to make the decisions that make the company the most money and point in the direction that it needs to go to help not only its employees but its customers as well. Like, these are people that have a vision that it's the top down, right? They say this is what we need to do to improve performance. This is the direction we want to go. We want to convert one store to completely organic, completely vegan, whatever, like all the healthiest food options you can buy. Or we want to train customers to make better eating decisions, right? Like these are people with that actually look at everything we do and make important decisions because like they can do their job because of us, but we wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for them, right? Like that's the kind of give and take. But sure, when you're just own a business and you no longer care because you're gonna like John Deere, you're gonna sell tractors, there's almost no competition in the area.
Also, the problem is like the liability risk that comes with unskilled labor assembling the machines that you ship out en masse that have a guarantee of quality. And you would think that you would pay the people that build those machines that have the guarantee quality.
Well, you make a good point. Because of labor shortages and because of the high demand of workers in the market, like even before this, like workers had a lot of power, but like going back to trucking, like a lot of trucking companies have hired really shitty fucking drivers. And there are a lot of bad truck drivers on the road now. Like truck drivers, semi drivers used to be the best drivers on the road. Now they're fucking terrible because they just hire anybody they can get off the street because they need drivers. America runs on those drivers.
Yeah, and back on the day too, like I remember there was a gentleman who used to work at the Harper who was getting his trucking license, and it's a very involved process. Like you need to understand how your truck works. Like you just don't need to understand how to drive it. Like you need to understand how the engine, how the diesel, and like everything about it in case you break down in the middle of fucking nowhere, so you can do some patch repairs. Right. And it's an intense job that asks a lot of somebody, and just letting other regular people doing it, thinking, okay, this is a good easy way to get money. I just need to drive from point A to point B. No fucking biggie. But and then you realize that like the cabin shakes and that roads there are detours and wrecks and people in small cars who drive like fucking assholes, which is a Bay Area classic, which
Jesus, and city streets that you can't drive on because you weigh too much.
Exactly, like inclement weather, like we saw in Richmond on the Richmond Bridge going into San Francisco.
Shit, yeah, man.
Yeah, a semi truck fucking blew because the wind was so bad,
Dude, imagine the people like who like decided they wanted to go to the Bay Area that day. Not only are they in fucking Richmond, now they got to deal with a fucking semi truck blown over on the bridge.
Blowing over on a fucking bridge, it's crazy. But at the end of the day, like what were we even talking about originally? I think you're talking about me getting fired, and
you're talking about John Deere. You're talking about John Deere.
Yeah, we're talking about John Deere, but I think originally I was complaining about getting fired in a shitty way. Talk about my other shitty. Like,
it's because bad managers and owners who make money they shouldn't, and they don't award people the money, like the workers. They don't pay them well enough and bullshit.
And just to equate that real quick, I'm not talking about where the law firm I'm coming from. I'm talking about the job that I took after I got fired from the law firm. And I got to put this out there in case I don't know the server comes back to bite me at the ass. I was not the best employee I could have been at the law firm. I know that for a fact. The job was stressing me out. I don't know how to put that. I feel like the stress impacted my performance a lot. I felt like that I needed to add because we work with very, very serious situations. This is criminal defense. It doesn't really get any more worse than this when it comes to who you're talking to and interacting with on a daily basis. So I was trying to be the class clown as it was. Maybe I acted too unprofessionally in front of the attorneys at times. But at the end of the day, I just wish they could have talked to me about it, or they could have sent the senior attorney could have sent me a written email saying, hey, you need to shape up, not just hey, here's your last check, get the fuck out the door. After I show up on a Monday for a full work week. Because I was honestly that Friday, expecting to get fired because the senior attorney was coming down, and I didn't. And I was like, okay, I'm in the clear. Maybe I just need to keep working. If I was trying my hardest to, like I was telling you, I'm leaving at 5:45 in the morning, and I can't get up at 5:30, or else because I'm gonna be driving like shit, and I can't be working this stressful job where I'm already super tired, and I have to. I'm your guys' first point of contact. And I was getting a lot of conflicting information from different attorneys too about how it was supposed to handle dealing with clients. So at the end of the day, I just don't think it was a good fit. I feel like being fired was a good thing, but also at the same time, I really wish it could have been. Or I was actually honestly thinking about considering putting in my 2-week notice, but the senior attorney was in a very complicated court process right now, and he was relying on me for tech stuff for because at the end of the day, there is no one else in that office. Like they could be like, hey, I need you to go to this Facebook link and rip this video from Facebook. I don't fucking care how you do it. I just need the video from Facebook, and I don't have an account for you to log in on. Blah blah blah. Like, hey, no problem. I can do that because I'm me. I know tech. I grew up on the internet. That's a skill set I got that I didn't realize how valuable it was until very basically until working at that job.
Yeah.
And it's just procedures. There need to be procedures in place for this kind of thing, especially if you have a really professional environment like that. So yeah, I know it's not the norm. I think I'll talk more about the specifics with you when we're off the air because I don't want to, all the people I want to piss off. I don't think I want to piss off a lot. It's not for but I didn't. I'm the only. I know. I made discipline or pride. There were a lot of other people that were in and out of that office while I was working there. That's another reason I thought I was in the clear because of all the work I did at the beginning of the year. But I never claimed unemployment for that place. I never went through unemployment insurance. I just kept working. I just found a new job. I kept working, or I provided value to somebody. So yeah, I'm proud of myself for being able to do that, for being able to land on my feet. That's one thing I need to start saying more. And glad to be here with you. Talking about professionalism and stuff like that.
Of course. Well, I mean, and the thing is, like, a lot. I think a lot of people, especially over the pandemic, but even before, like, people have had mental health issues for a long time. And
it's a shadow issue in this country. This is very intense, and I'm sorry that this is a trigger warning, and sorry to keep talking over you, but
no, it's all good. It's all good.
I want to put this out there into people's minds. It's just, I really feel like the biggest cause of death in this country, probably in the next 5 years, is most likely going to be suicide. I think we built a country where it's really easy to fucking off yourself if you feel like it. There's a lot of high places you can throw yourself off of. And
think about
the
it this way,
infrastructure
right?
to deal with it isn't there. Yeah, go ahead.
Two of the leading, I think the leading cause of death in America is high blood pressure. All right.
Yeah.
Hypertension. What causes high blood pressure besides a poor diet? Stress.
Fucking
bad mental health, right? Like these are real issues.
36-year-olds getting heart attacks. You might kind of have a problem in your fucking country.
and not only that, right? A lot of people eat because they're stressed. A lot of people have a bad relationship with food. And a lot of that, a lot of people are comfort eaters or stress eaters and like whatever.
Exactly.
But like,
and also think about the main source of poor diet is fast food. Fast food, because people are working so intensely and so hard because they feel like they don't have the option to cook. I've been following this author, Michael Pollan, and he's been opening my eyes lately about how fucked up our relationship with food is in this country. Like, God, like he says, we used to spend hours preparing and cooking like it was a human tradition that we're basically that the bosses try to throw out the door because it couldn't, basically at the end of the day, eating cut into the time of work.
Right.
And they just wanted to cut it out.
I mean, you think about it this way. Like, I mean, I'm not everybody, right? I'm just me. I work. I wake up at 5:30. I get to work by 6. I work until usually about 3:30. Go to the gym. Come home. I get home, 5:30, 6, whatever. Have to shower. Have to take care of my whatever at home. Like, if I want to cook a full ass meal, it's gonna take like an hour and a half. Do the dishes, whatever. Like, by the time I'm done, it's like 9:30, 10. Like, I'm going to bed soon. What do you really have time for outside of that? Like, it's so much easier to just like come home, go to fucking Chick-fil-A, eat some delicious fucking chicken. I'm sorry, LGBT community, if you hate Chick-fil-A. I hate their beliefs, but I love Chick-fil-A. Okay.
As someone who founded in middle school, because of just personal victimization, I got a very unique perspective in life because I have kind of an adorable face, and my mother owned a retail clothing store, so I was always well dressed. So a lot of my peers considered this for me as being homosexual. And in the early 2000s, when alpha male trap rap was like the thing, it just wasn't a good time to be a good-looking, cute kid. That's the only thing. So I was a founding member of the Gay Straight Alliance in middle school and in high school, because at the end of the day, there were some people who were actually, I know this about myself now that I'm just not on the spectrum. I'm not gay. I don't like sucking dick. I don't know how else to say that.
But if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
If you do, exactly. If you do, there's nothing wrong with it. Go suck somebody. Do whatever the fuck you want. Embrace your sexuality. Be yourself. That's all I gotta say. Don't let these fucking stupid ass kids tear you down. But I can also say that Chick-fil-A is the only place I get fucking good waffle fries with sea salt on them.
Yo, that's the thing, right? Me not going to Chick-fil-A isn't going to stop them from hating gay people. Like, I'm not going there to make a political statement. I'm going there to get some fucking delicious chicken and mac and cheese. That's it.
Yeah. And also, at the same time, even you and I complain a lot about people's health issues in this food, then we go to fucking Taco Bell and we just smash.
Yeah. And you know what? Taco Bell apparently supports Donald Trump or somebody from there. I don't give a shit. It's not a political statement. I just want food.
It's about balance, too, because at the end of the day, a lot of these fast food places used to be set up for in-person dining. And now they're just not. Like, they're built around the idea of the drive-thru. And that's
well, the labor shortage is fucked. The dining's like every fast food place is starting to close down their dining rooms because of labor shortages.
Yeah. The local Jack in the Box on Brentwood Boulevard is like they're just closed half the time because they don't have anyone fucking work there. Also, one, because it's a really shitty, unappreciative job where you feel like shit. Yeah. Two, because I think a lot of 16, 17-year-olds are starting to realize that they could just go work in tech at a very young age, because they can just, this is what it's about.
But again, like,
it's about balance. It's nice to get talked about once a week, but don't get it all the fucking time.
Oh, of course, yeah. Even Adele, she lost all that weight. She looks good, whatever. Yeah. Gay people hate her, or not gay people. I mean, fat people hate her now, I guess, because she betrayed them or something. Yeah. I don't know. But she recently said she goes to McDonald's once a week, man. If she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, it used to be a conspiracy theory, and I apologize if you struggle with your weight and listen, and I encourage you, to just be healthy. At the end of the day,
whatever that means for you.
There are people I know that we would consider to be heavyset. I'm like, no, that's just a big dude. Like, there are some guys there's these words called big and tall. They're just big dudes because they burn a lot of energy when they do shit because they work in labor because they fucking love doing it. Right. And they burn a lot of energy, so they want to eat a shitload of food, and that gives them kind of a belly to throw around.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
fine.
I mean, even one of our, I don't know, he was a friend. We worked with KT, right? You remember KT? Yeah. Like, KT wasn't He wasn't a super fat dude or whatever. He wasn't thin. He was a big dude though, right?
Yeah, he was a big laborer trucker dude who could throw his weight around. That's the thing. He was buff too. That's the thing. That's the one thing. There's a difference between being healthy and also
right,
bigger.
But I remember
when you have huge muscle.
He was always concerned about his health, because of his blood pressure and stuff. When you get older, you have more health problems. He's got to the doctor a lot, whatever. So it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter any of that. It just matters if you're healthy.
Feel healthy,
right?
Yeah. Do you feel healthy? Are you shitting normally? If you're shitting out paste all the time, dude, man, you really got to change your diet.
But I don't want to. Okay, leave me alone.
Okay, guys. Daily diarrhea is not normal. I'm sorry. Let's figure it out.
You know what it is? I'm on the BMI chart. I'm morbidly obese.
Yes.
I would say. I don't know, but I don't know, man. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I don't eat crazy calories every day. I kind of eat like shit, but
I eat like shit too, and that's one thing about myself I really need to change. I really wish I could have more time to just, I do have the time, I just don't. At the end of the day, I'm a stress eater. And then when I was running back and forth to Martinez every day, I was eating really unhealthy food.
You know what it is? When I go to the doctor, when I get blood tests, everything's normal for me, right? I sometimes I eat a crazy amount of sugar, right? And my wife always is like, "Wow, how the fuck do you not have diabetes? Are you fucking kidding me?"
When I go to the movies, oh man, when you and I go to the movies,
yeah.
it's a death sentence. That popcorn. How much butter do we fucking put on that popcorn, dude?
That reminds me, dude.
We should start going to the movies again.
I'm buying extra tickets. I don't give a fuck. When Far From Home tickets go on sale, No Way Home, Spider-Man, when those tickets go on sale, I'm buying a bunch of them. All right. So if you want to come, I'll have a ticket for you.
Yeah. Do you want to see Immortals? Or is it already out?
Eternals comes on next week. I already have tickets for it.
Okay, no problem. I totally get it. Late notice, I get it. But if there are now that my schedule's a little more free, if you want to see movies again, let me know.
Yeah.
I got a new car. It's a Chevy Bolt. Cool. When I was working at the law firm, because I thought I could afford it. Now every month's oh fuck, oh geez. But I'm figuring it out, so it doesn't matter. So, but it's
if you want to come for No Way Home, I'll even send you gas money to come down here.
No. See, the thing is, I get 52 miles to the gallon on this thing. I fucking love it, dude.
Well, then I'll send you $5.
Yeah, send me some. Just buy me Chick-fil-A when I get up there or something. that cool little mall plaza where we were with the nice leaning seats and the pretzels.
Yeah.
Oh god,
That
that
one's
place.
hella far from me now. That's like 45
Oh
minutes.
damn
But
it.
I could still probably go to that
Oh
one.
fuck! Wait, how far away are you from me? Did you get
Oh,
closer or farther to me?
further, I think.
Oh fuck!
Because
Come on.
you know where Rancho Cordova is?
Oh man, yeah.
I'm like near there. So.
Well, I'll drive. I'll do it because I love you.
No, but
But
I still go to the theater in Elk Grove. A different one, though.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
also a lot of expressions I'm gonna start using. Like I love, and I'm gonna say that to other men because there's two things. Like I'm becoming kind of a conspiracy theorist. One, where it really does feel like that the essentially fast food industry and how they buy up all agriculture and they control basically now all of their agricultural suppliers. Kind of get to set policy for food and health administration, which is kind of really shitty because it means that they're going to be pumping shit out. Like they're going to do the bare minimum and they're going to pump out a lot of really shitty food, and they're trying their hardest to make it seem like that being at a very unhealthy weight, if someone else attacks you, it's because they're a bigot and not because that they want the best for you and they want you to feel healthy and be healthy. It's because they're a bigot. And man, I just see a lot of weird shit.
Yeah. To be honest, like it's for me, all that stuff is just noise. I always find it odd. Like people are the worst to each other, and like
Exactly.
it's like just be. This is my advice to anybody out there who struggles with like the way other people think or whatever. Like, just be the best you can be until you know better, and that's all you can do, right?
Just try to help out, find a good job.
Yeah.
Don't eat like I do.
Always try to improve yourself. Try to improve
Yeah.
your situation. And like I was saying before, like about how bad mental health is now and everything is like everyone deals with mental health in different ways, and sometimes you really have to sit in the shit for a while to like motivate yourself to finally do something about it too. But like there's little things you can do when you're struggling to help yourself. Like for me, it was this stupid shit when I had like really bad like mental health problems. Yeah, I would set little goals for myself, like little tiny fucking goals, and like when I accomplished them, it'd make me feel good. Or like I would like order like one thing off Amazon a week because it gave me something to look forward to, like a package coming. Just like
for me, that thing is my dog. That's one thing I forgot to talk about. I keep a German Shepherd. I am a dog keeper now. I consider myself that. I'm taking professional courses. I've got a treat pouch with my little clips onto the side of my pants when I'm walking around. I got a clicker. I'm pretty sure my dog. Wow, this might be extreme, but my dog probably saved my life now a couple times because I've been in some dark places, and just keep thinking like, oh fuck, I was gonna take care of the dog. Oh, shit. Yeah. Like it's just it encourages you to be healthy. If you don't exercise with her, she gets upset. I know for a fact this dog can read my fucking mood like I'm a book. So it's great.
dogs are crazy, man. Dogs have crazy intuition and like empathy
and
and
they're
shit.
important to us. And also they've been on. It's the thing we need to think about. They've been with us on this crazy odyssey because I'm starting to think of all of you. And this is weird hippie acid shit, but at the end of the day, I like to think of us all as great sailors on the back of a giant vessel on an amazing voyage through the stars.
Yeah.
And they've been right there with us. Like I feel like a lot of our social cues we picked up almost seemed like we got them from watching and imitating dogs, like 200,000 years ago when we were just stupid apes.
Yeah.
It seems like
I had a crazy good idea for a book. I don't know if I should leak it though.
Yeah.
It's like something that's like very obvious in a lot of ways.
We can talk about it after I complain about what the
But yeah, dude, like shit's just been crazy. So
it has. Yeah.
But you know what? We've had a lot of shit to get us through. I mean, we've had a lot of Marvel shows. We've had, Dune. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like
it was great. I enjoyed it. It was a good sci-fi movie. It was a really good sci-fi movie. Like I'm glad it exists. It just obviously you and I need to have a full episode.
Yeah. We'll talk about all this shit. Like I don't know what you've watched. If you watched like Suicide Squad or anything.
I did watch it. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so we can talk about that. Shang-Chi, dude, holy shit. Like
so I really fucking love that movie too. Like did you love it?
Dude, for me it's like top 5 Marvel movies right now. For sure.
Like I love
because
Wong,
it's another
dude.
one.
I love Wong. I love how he's becoming the bridge to all these different stories.
Yeah, like Shang-Chi, this is what I'll say, like this is not a hot take, but this is what I'll say before we have like whatever, like our full discussion or whatever, but like the thing I'll say about Shang-Chi is it and Black Panther stand alone as the only two Marvel movies that don't need to rely on the MCU to be good movies.
They just
Like
punched in.
they use it, right? They use it well. Like they live in that world well, but they can exist without it. They can transcend it because of what they are, right? Like Shang-Chi is like, dude, it had vibes of Rush Hour shit, like Jackie Chan shit, like classic.
For me, it reminded me a lot of Old Boy, which is one of my favorite martial arts movies of all time, just hands down. Like, I'm not sure if Old Boy is considered a martial arts movie. Well, I think it is because the guy fights with the fucking fist all the time, so whatever. But like, the sideways scenes, like when they were fighting on the scaffolding. Anyway, we can talk about this after.
Yeah. It's crazy though.
And the 10 rings themselves, God, they look so fucking cool. Like it was just every time they were on scene, like all this crazy shit they did was awesome. And God,
dude, and you can that's the thing. Like people hate it when you compare things to other things, but for me, it felt so much like classic martial arts movies.
It felt like a kung fu movie, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, combined with Avatar: The Last Airbender, shit like that. The different fighting styles of the people, from the other realm. The way they kind of floated and used different elements to help them just fight. It was really cool. And also when we talk about it, I got to talk about this really stupid ass take I saw about the mom. I saw the stupidest shit I've ever seen about that shit.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure there are plenty of hot takes I missed in our hiatus from TheNerdLedger.
Yeah, but we got a lot to talk about in the future.
Yeah, just a quick take on Dune 2. The budget priorities were in the right fucking place, which is in the VHS to capture the scale of Frank Herbert's imagination, and just in the soundtrack, dude. It was probably one of the most unique blends of sounds that I've seen in a long time. You had throat singing and bagpipes and weird ass drums and shit.
A lot of it reminded there were motifs in the score that reminded me of like Lord of the Rings a little bit, like the horns,
Yes.
Like the
yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean it's Hans Zimmer. He doesn't really miss, to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, they made the right choice.
Yeah. I mean, and just for people like me, I know my dad liked the 1984 Dune, and I don't know if you ever read the books. I don't know if you.
I've read all the books.
I know you read the books, but did you watch the 1984 movie?
I did watch the 1984 movie. I think both. See, the thing is, my hot take for this, they both no, not at all. Completely different movies. And they both have their own unique strengths. I actually think the 1984 movie was probably, and this is going to be a hot take we can discuss later, probably more true to the book as in terms of line of dialogue. Because just I guess this will be a little teaser for the discussion to come. One major issue I had is the lack of lines pulled from the book when there were so obviously great places they could have inserted it, and they just didn't. That's one of my major critiques because it's what happened in Lord of the Rings. I'm rereading Lord of the Rings right now, and I just
so good.
Read the classic line you tell me your name, Horse Master, and I'll tell you mine. It's just man, it's so snappy, the dialogue.
The thing with dialogue is you have to be careful because if you just want to give characters a dialogue because it's in the books and you ignore all the context around it, then you really mess it up, I think. But good writers and good screenwriters do it really well. That's why I think
exactly
in Lord of the Rings those things work well. Yeah.
Yeah, because Lord of the Rings has a lot of talking. It's almost 80 to 75% talking.
Yeah, but the first Harry Potter movie did it really poorly. They tried to pull lines directly from the book so much, and the whole conversation with Hagrid and Harry makes no fucking sense. Where he's "You're a wizard, Harry." The most popular shit. If you actually listen to that conversation, no cognitive human person talks like that, right? Oh, they never told you. Told me what? You never wondered where your parents learned it all. What the fuck are you talking about? You're a wizard. I don't know what you're talking about still. What do you mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Jesus. But it's just because it loses the context, right? The line is in the books, but there's context to it, right? So, I thought just for someone who's never watched Dune before or read it,
I think it's really one strength. I'm not gonna be this asshole who tears into the movie because it doesn't match up to the books. Because at the end of the day, no movie's gonna fucking do it. Like, it's just impossible. Like,
it should be treated as its own work, right?
Yes, exactly. And Dune had a lot of, for all the things it did wrong, it did a lot of things really, really right. God, the VHX in that movie was so fucking good. Like, the shields look great.
Oh
like,
yeah, because the shields in the 1984 movie look fucking trash,
so
dude.
stupid. They're
It's
just
it's
like these
fucking
little...
Roblox.
Yeah, it's so bad. And like the noise is all fucked. Like, it didn't muffle the voices at all. Like, and man, like, I wish we could have seen a Guild Navigator, and I hope they do it in the new one, because as we know, I guess we can talk about this now. Part 2 is just confirmed, I think, as recently as yesterday.
Yeah,
I think
it got confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, and I really do think it's coming more and more as more and more crew members and cast members begin to say, yeah, there was these scenes like with the Josh Brolin's character playing an instrument and reciting a poem that's famous from the book that kind of sets the theme, the setting for Arrakis, was just cut for some reason. That they didn't, I don't know, because they feel like, oh, people aren't going to want to sit in a movie theater for 3 hours, even though we know for a fact that's not the case. If the movie is really fucking good, they'll sit in there. Like, it's just a fact of life.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, like, their criticism of this movie has been that, like, it's slow to start. Like, it takes a while to get into it.
The book's like that too.
Right, but for people who get bored of that, which if people don't like that, it bodes poorly for Eternals, because I've heard that movie is incredibly slow and it's had terrible reviews so far, but I don't give a shit. I'm going to watch it and judge for myself.
Well, yeah, you and I will watch it. If it's a good movie, we'll say it's good, and fuck everyone else, because we have our own opinions.
I don't mind slow burns, but for people who do care about slow burns and, like, they don't want to sit through it, like, adding that scene probably loses a lot of people, right?
Yes.
The two hot takes I have of Dune right now are Jason Momoa should never not have a beard. What the fuck was that shit?
Yeah.
And second, like,
that guy's so manly.
I get it. Like, this was in the 60s, right? Dune was written in the 60s. And
70s, then 60s,
yeah, and then Star Wars, obviously took some influence and all this stuff. It just feels like every planet you go to is a city. Like, that's how it feels. Like, have you been on Earth? There, like, there's so many different biomes, but, like, every planet in every science fiction / fantasy thing is one biome. Hoth is all ice. Tatooine is all sand. Arrakis is all sand. Why?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And Arrakis, the thing is, Frank Herbert, he talked about all that. Like, this is the thing, like, in the Dune books, like, he literally, because he was an ecologist in his life. Like, that's who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he got, I'm not sure if you know much about this, but he was asked essentially to say, hey, so if we wanted to take all of Southern California and turn it into this amazing green wonderland, like, because he was an ecologist, he went to college for ecology, like, land and water rights and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I'll do it, because you're kind of creative. Why don't you talk about it? So he wrote some books about this, and he was a huge fan of Isaac Asimov, and he just wrote the Dune books from there, and he explains why Dune is the way it is. But you're absolutely right. Like, Caladan was a planet with multiple different biomes.
Yeah.
But they're only on Caladan before they fucking leave.
Yeah, but, like, anything that's, like, normal, like, that resembles Earth in some way, like that what we're used to, like buildings and forests and trees and, like, beautiful things, like
mountains. And
you don't really think of those planets as all the planets like that, but, like, sand planets, like, you're like, oh, it's all sand. Snow planets, it's all snow. Like, it's just weird. But no,
the main thing for Arrakis is that it used to be the worms used to be fish, and it used to be a water world, but then the ocean essentially drifted too close to the sun because of its natural inclination of time, dried out.
Mm-hmm.
The earth, so that's why it is the way it is.
Yeah.
But it's intense, and you have to read really deeply in to pick up that kind of stuff, though. And I agree, but at the end of the day,
yeah,
the single planet type thing is
It definitely will make for like good fun discussion, like when we have a full in-depth conversation. I will also say though, like I like how Paul cares about studying culture, like, and I don't know if it's only because of his dreams or if, like, he would do that normally anyway. Like, he doesn't just make assumptions about the people like everyone else does. But it also feels like he's not necessarily the hero of the story,
Exactly. That's the most important thing I think a lot of people need to realize about these books. It's like Star Wars, but if Star Wars doesn't give a fuck about you or your emotions or your feelings, there are no heroes. They're just people in space. 10,000. Like, that's the thing. Like, Asimov again. Like, he was writing as the Dune books as a commentary. Like, okay, humans 10,000 years from now, they spread out through the stars, like, they just amorphosized, evolved themselves in all these different ways. Like, it's just crazy and intense, and yeah.
Yeah.
But we should save this for the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
And I do need to go here in a bit. So if you want to wrap it up.
We'll sign out. But thanks for everyone who is watching or watched. This will be posted as a video too, just on like YouTube for people who want to watch it later. But yeah, thanks for everybody. And just if you're late or whatever, the recap is we've both been extremely busy. Chair's been struggling with some mental health stuff.
I've been horribly depressed and anxious, and I got fired, and then I quit another job.
So, I just wasn't feeling up to podcasting, streaming, and which makes complete sense. So we're back. Hopefully, more consistent. If not, whatever, it happens. But if you like this, you can follow right now if you want the Twitch channel right here, the TheNerdLedger on Twitch. You can follow us. You can subscribe to my YouTube where I'll post it, KaJetheHammer on YouTube. You can follow my other podcast, Life Serial, if you want. You can find that wherever you find podcasts. And this is also a podcast. There will be a podcast version on the TheNerdLedger, wherever you listen to podcasts. So thank you. Thanks for talking to me, Chair. I really appreciate it.
Of course, I'm glad to be here, and hopefully we'll talk to all of you again, all 4 of you. 2 of you, probably me and you watching ourselves, but...
Much love, everyone. I'm gonna sign out. Goodbye.